Already live. It
Already?
happened.
Now?
Yeah. Oh, I guess the notes I shared still says April 19th chat. It is like the May 24th.
Was there anybody waiting for us?
Oh, there's 4 people in here.
Oh.
I don't know who they are. But tonight, the live chat is sponsored by the Firearms Policy Coalition for all the good work that they do in the Fifth Circuit. Mock versus Garland. Kudos to them for working hard. And I don't even own a fucking brace, but they've got to stay in the brace. So good for them.
You don't own a brace anymore?
No, I got a Magpul one just to do a video on, and then gave it away as soon as the video was done.
Oh, I think I got the same one at some point.
It was my favorite brace, but
because it was
SBRs. Like, what's the point?
Because it wasn't a brace; it was just a thin stock.
Yep. TJ's here. Tom Hollaby. I actually was going to reference you tonight, Tom.
So was I. I don't know if it's for the same topic, though.
Probably something to do with the interwebs and slings.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the video yet that people have referenced, so it was more talking about the people doing the talking than the actual content. Because I'm not a big fan of the internets and like the gun people on the internets.
Zach, are you familiar with the hubbub that Tom read, the hornet's nest that Tom walked into?
I don't think I am, but I would love to hear about it.
Okay, so I think you guys would be a great sounding board for this, Tom. I hope I'm not stealing your thunder, buddy, because I'm a big fan of you and agree with your line of thinking. So Tom made a video which got posted on the Pew Pew Jews Instagram, and he made some comments on there. I don't know all the points he made, but it was stuff that we've probably heard before. He doesn't use a sling, especially for CQB type environments. Could get tangled up. Somebody can get a hold of you, get leverage on you because of the sling. And basically his viewpoint was, Tom already ran off with it. His viewpoint was, I don't use a sling, especially on my rifles as a citizen, because it could be more of a hindrance than a help. And I'm like, yes. Like, that's everything I've learned about slings over the past couple of years. Is sure, they can be handy when it comes time to go hands off and you don't want that thing on the ground, but everything in between, I'm not a big fan of having that sling on me.
I know there's a company that actually makes a product you can put on your sling to help keep it stowed flat to the rifle. Man, what was it called again?
It's like a slooper
or something. Sling Duber, that's it. Sling Duber. Yes. I have to look up and see if somebody out there can find out where they sell that at and put a link.
Yes.
If only Crystal was here.
Yes, because my other moderator is busy.
I can only imagine that video probably set the internet on fire.
Like it does.
With just from what I've heard Mike say about it, as someone who's been starred in a video, the shooting video on the internet that has been run away with by the tactical community, I can only imagine that Tom's video saying that, hey, maybe you don't need a sling, probably set some things on fire. So good for him.
I will say this: there's probably a good chance that never before on the internet have so many people been talking about Tom at one time.
Yeah.
Oh, Crystal is here. Crystal, dear, since you are a moderator and the only other 2 people who can type links are on the chat, if you could find that company, you might have to Google who sells a thing called a sling duber and put a link up, that'd be awesome.
Basically just Ranger bands on Amazon.
see. We got a bunch of people already checked in, and we already went off on one of my notes there that said Tom Hollyby video something about slings. So here's the deal: like how I discovered it. I watch the internet on mute all the time. Like I don't have volume turned on my phone, or I'll have music playing so that I don't get pestered with stuff. So like I see Tom's videos, like the TikTok style or reels or whatever the fuck they call them, the vertical ones. And like every once in a while, if it's quiet, I'll go ahead and listen. I'm like, oh, good stuff, and move on. And I saw there was a sling one. That was as much as I saw, and was like, oh, I'm sure it's fine. And but then I saw it on somebody else's Instagram, like shared with no comment, just like part of their story. And I was like, oh, they're sharing Tom's video. It must be really good. And then so I'm like, I gotta go find it. So I like log on to Facebook, figuring that I'll find a link to it. And when I log on, I saw Tom commenting that like, holy fuck, people are going stupid. And I was like, oh, maybe they're not sharing it because it's awesome. They're just sharing it because it's awesome and they don't understand it, like the internet does. And like I still haven't watched it with the sound on because I was more interested just reading people's comments first and getting a feel for how like retarded people are so that it would try and color my opinion of it before I watched it, which of course you all know me means that if the internet is bashing it, it makes me like it even more. And I still haven't heard what he says in it.
Yeah, well, I guess your view is going to be tainted now because we've kind of gone through it. But as soon as I found out what it was, I'm like, what? Like people are that bent out of shape about like someone saying that you shouldn't use slings. But then I realized, oh yeah, it's the internet. And then I immediately thought of you guys, like especially for Tom, like that meme where it's like James Franco like at the gallows, and he's got like the noose around his neck, and he's looking over.
First time, yeah.
First time,
yeah.
Yeah, it happens, man.
It happens to the best of us. So.
Yep, indeed it does.
I don't know.
I've had a few of those even. Wow.
Oh yeah, you've had more than your fair share.
Well, I have. One of the videos I was featured in. I kind of knew it was getting around, but I really knew it was getting around when somebody from my department showed it to me and was like, "Look how unsafe these people are being." And I was like, "Oh, cool, man. Hey, that's me in there." Ungracefully, as an instructor said I was. And he goes, "Oh, really?" And it was great because then I got to explain it, and he's a really good friend of mine, and he totally gets it. Unfortunately, he doesn't take any outside training classes, but I was able to like explain it to him and tell him how like that's how gunfights happen essentially, and he was cool with it. But it was just funny because he was like, "Hey, man, have you seen this crazy video with these people doing this thing?" And so, yeah, man, that the guy right there is me. So.
I'm going to start making people wearing big like jerseys with their names on the back so they can share in the glory of the internet. That way you don't have to tell everyone.
Zach, weren't you involved in another internet storm video too? Were you at the Biggers wheelchair video?
So I was not present during Wheelchair Gate.
Wheelchair
Gate. But no, but that one still pops up every once in a while, and I just watch it for 30-40 minutes at a time. But no, I was unfortunately not physically there when that one happened. I think I was there like the week before, maybe.
Somebody I know was there, or like somebody I know was the one holding the camera or something, but I can't remember.
I was not there. It was the last class of the year, and Maryland cut me free before the class started since I had so far to drive home, so I missed it. Although while I was there, we had at least 2 other people in wheelchairs in class. I just didn't get videoed. Yeah,
I've been in classes with that company where they've had someone in a wheelchair and they've done essentially the same thing. And I guess that one time they did it and videoed it, that's when everything got set on fire. But that is probably one of my videos that pops up.
Weird how the common denominator is video.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that one for the first time going, what's wrong with this? Like, I was like that, like, okay, conveyor belt of death, Rob Pincus losing his shit, Like almost that one, you can almost go, well, yeah, that's to an untrained eye. That one can seem a little
because he doesn't understand it.
Yeah, like a lot of people are so risk averse or whatever. The wheelchair one was like, what? Like it's a company accommodating somebody in a wheelchair doing the things that everyone else is doing on a line. So like the idea that like, oh well, just because someone's pushing the wheel, like they had no problem with all the other students doing the same exact thing with legs.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, shit, that's a lot. Like that guy didn't even have to worry about walking and tripping on all the fucking shotgun husks that were over the ground. No, yeah, I was like, I don't get it. Not that one.
Yeah, I think by the time that one came out, there may have been some just general people were just not happy with that particular company for
True.
and I think that's why maybe it got more hate than it initially deserved. Was just because some people be like, oh, that came from that company.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna hate it because somebody else said to hate it.
Yeah.
We have downrange photographers there. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Adam, yes, it was the dude in the band. I don't know if he's the one that recorded it, but he was in the video, or he was at that class, and it was what was the name of the band? 7 Mary 3 Doors Down or something.
Like 7.314 down or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
7 windows over.
Good times. God bless the internet. Without it, how would I be entertained? Mike, I know you are a fan of, or maybe it wasn't you, that of the Arnold Palmer like lemonade tea mix.
I am, yes, very much.
I just thought I would share that I have the Liquid Death Armless Palmer.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't even really care for lemon in my tea.
I might have a new favorite drink.
They have 2 teas. The other one does not have lemon in it. I have not tried it yet.
Is it like very seltzery?
Or no seltzer at all.
Oh, it's just
tea. Yep.
Holy shit. How many calories? Is it 0 carb?
1 giant ass can, 30 calories.
Okay.
7 grams of carb.
I've seen worse.
This psychotic can of iced tea will use agave and vitamins to savagely murder your thirst and turn its insides into balloon animals to book gigs at children's birthday parties.
Hashtag Becker Keto.
Yes. This was almost like a reaction video tonight to a new drink. It was just good enough. I felt like I should share it. Let's see. What do we got going on that I wanted to mention? This very weekend here in Bloomsburg, Jonathan Aldridge of Iron Forge Consulting will be here for his 1-day active threat medicine class. I believe that folks, there is still one slot left for that. Don't quote me on it, but I'm going to try and put the link up here. And if you use the coupon code TREMIS, you get $25 off. But if he's got a slot left, I want him to fill it up. So if you're local or semi-local or can drive here.
Yeah, even if you're not local. Yeah, that's a good one to take. John knows his stuff.
I'm excited.
Me too. I would tell folks, hey, I even have a spare room, but I got 3 people staying here this weekend, so I don't get a lot of spare room.
I'm so excited for this class. I made it mandatory for all bulletin staff.
Oh my. Well, if I'm not mistaken, all Tremis Dynamics staff will be there as well. That's adjunct instructors, range bitches, support crew from back home, aka Mike will be there and will be my entire family.
Yeah, it's an important one. Also, we don't get enough medical stuff up here, so I'm just excited that John's bringing the class up.
Yes, indeed, I agree. I'm going through my list here of other shit. We had a bug out last weekend. Fucking weather, the temperatures were awesome. The weather was not necessarily awesome, but the temperatures were awesome.
It rained at the right times.
Yep, right at the top of the goat path, all the way into about an hour into after we stopped for the night. It rained, and but the fire gods smiled on us and left us a pile of wood. Like just sitting there where we normally stop was a pile of wood that somebody obviously brought in there somehow, because the road is gated off, so it's either somebody that has the combination to the state owned gate, or they use like a wagon or a two-wheel game cart or something.
That was the best surprise ever.
It really was. I was shocked. I should have, if I was prepared, I took a picture of the wood pile. I should have got it like staged so I could put it up on screen. Hello, Otto.
Greetings and salutations, Otto.
Hello, Otto.
RJ, I bet you did not, or I can't say I bet you didn't know this, but I just suspect most people don't know this. But the father, the grandfather, the godfather of the job title Commando was started by a guy named Otto. Otto Skorzeny. Anyhow, so we're at that bug out. We got one more coming up this year in September, 16th of September, and it's going to be the last regular bug out. It's going to be like a normal study group setting, and then there'll be one more bug out in the spring of next year, probably in May sometime, and that one will be invite only for people who are alumni of previous Bug the Fuck Outs, and then Bug the Fuck Out is done. That is the last chapter. We're closing the book.
Is next May going to be like Cash the Fuck Out?
No.
Okay.
It's not going to be that one. We're going to do something special for it as the final chapter, whatever.
Zach, have you been on a bug out yet?
Yeah, I think back in 2019, August or September, I believe.
Yeah.
It was. I don't remember. I don't think it rained. Mike, you were there, I think, right? I don't remember. Maybe. I know Austin was there. A couple other people. And yeah, that class is the basis for what I carry like in my truck all the time. Like I had stuff that I thought I was going to carry, and that class really like kind of reshaped everything about how what I carry in my vehicle at all times. So I am looking forward to hopefully taking another one, as long as it's not on IndyCar racing next May. Then I will do my best to be there to test out my stuff again.
Yes. Well, we haven't picked a date for that yet. So,
well, yeah, there's 2 weekends in May, depending on how the Speedway continues their firearm detection at the front gate, like they've started this year. So we'll see if I end up going next year. But
don't you have the I can go anywhere I want with this badge pass?
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to see if that works, because I've been making it through. But at some point, I'm worried they're going to step up their technology game. But
they don't.
As far as do what?
They don't. I can assure you that when they put those things up, it's about that, that being there is the deterrent.
Yeah, no, and the one they had last time, it just dings, but there's no like imaging behind it. Whereas there are some where where they have different kinds of imaging technology. So when it dings, you just have to go get your bag looked through, which is great. I go and I look at my bag, and then I go in. But in May, obviously, there's 2 weekends. So as long as it's not one of those 2 weekends, I will do everything I can to be there because I want to test out my stuff again. So.
Well, I will get with you when I'm figuring out dates, and we'll try and get something that works.
Yeah, that'll work.
All right, that didn't work. I was going to try and get the picture up from the fire gods, but it'll be tomorrow's social media, and we'll just roll with that for the fire gods picture. There was a big announcement at this last bug out. It was the big fireside announcement. It wasn't that big of an announcement. It was actually a small announcement because next year, Pennsylvania Tremis Dynamics classes will be a lot more one-day classes and a whole lot less multi-day classes. So that was the big announcement for those that missed it. Everyone that couldn't make the bug out was texting me. All right, well, like, what was the announcement? And I said, how's your Russian? Because there was 4 Russian speakers at the bug out. You should ask one of them. And then I kind of let it drop, and they gave up because we had 2 fellas who immigrated to the United States some years ago, both doctors, and they brought their sons with them, and they all speak Russian. Obviously the parents, that was their primary language, and English is their second language. I think the kids are the opposite. All right, that's all my things I had to mention. The other shit on the list is just stuff to in case we need links. All right, we got all the good shit out of the way. Zach, what do you got going on? I do believe there's a thing coming up, isn't there?
There is on June 3rd, which is a Saturday. So a 1-day shotgun class in Somerset, Ohio. So there's probably people in here maybe that have taken some training out there with Jay or Jerry. But in Somerset, Ohio, we're doing a 1-day shotgun class, definitive shotgun. There's probably some definitive shotgun alumni in here. For those that don't know what it is the 1 day worth of training that I think you should know to be able to use a shotgun effectively. Contrary to popular belief, the shotgun is not a zero knowledge weapon, right? You absolutely need to know what you're doing with it. The good news is there's really only a couple points that you really need to learn about, like how it patterns, buckshot, like when to use buckshot, and then how to keep the thing loaded. Like obviously the shooting part's important, the sights are important, but if you can keep it loaded and you can load it quickly, and what range your buckshot works at, and more importantly, what buckshot to have in your shotgun, those, in my opinion, are the 2 biggest points that I could impart on somebody in a 1-day class. So that is kind of how the class is set up. There's still some spots available, and it's just a lot of shooting. The first half of the day is how to pattern the gun, kind of some of my principles with the gun as far as what I think is important, what I think is not so important. The shotgun also there's probably more myths around the shotgun than any other kind of firearm or weapon or whatever out there. And so we dispel some of those myths. We throw some shotguns on the ground. We shoot some bird shot. We shoot some buckshot. We talk about how far your buckshot should be able to reach out and touch somebody, and we show like how far it actually can. And it's a 1-day class, so it's not going to tie up your whole weekend. I feel like after that day, I can give somebody back to society, so to speak, and they are more knowledgeable. What I think is the most lethal thing that you can put in your hands as far as a firearm. And so that is June 3rd, Somerset, Ohio. It's a great range. Bob Lester, the guy that runs it or owns it, is a super cool dude. And there's going to be a bunch of dudes there that are like-minded. And I will say the shotgun class is also one class where the more people that are in it, the better it is. If we have 10 people, or if we have 10 people in the shotgun class and versus 5, the 10-person shotgun class is statistically twice as fun. At least that's how I think about it. So that is the class that's coming up. The shotgun class, definitive shotgun, Somerset, Ohio, June 3rd. If you go to I think someone's posted Yep, there it is. The Definitive Training Solutions upcoming courses. You'll see all the courses on there. Try not to click on the picture of Tim Morris sitting in a bathtub with an AK. That's a different class. But if you click on it, that picture does get bigger. So if that's your thing, but the shotgun class is on that link, and that's how you can sign up for it.
So we got a question here. Let me go back to my chat screen.
Yeah, there was a ton of
that link.
How much time in the class do you spend like talking about how to successfully make the noise?
Well, it's funny. I actually put a bag over every student's head, and then I rack the shotgun, and then I ask, "How scared are you?" And nobody's near as scared as when we when I say the second part of the test is I'm going to shoot you with it, and you'll tell me how scared you'll be then. And so I don't have to get to the second part of that test, but yeah, it's pretty definitive.
I'd love to see definitive data to see what's scarier, the sound of the or the sound of a shotgun blast coming toward your face.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean the data I have so far says people are very scared of being shot with a shotgun. Very, very similar to the low light class that I teach, where we talk about strobes and how it disorients people. Or how the internet says that a strobe flashlight will disorient somebody. And my response is like, I'm about to start shooting you. So like, this is going to get real disoriented real fast when these bullets start hitting you. So it's kind of the same concept. I'm fairly confident with this amount of testing, much like the testing of does a shotgun fire if you slam it on the ground. I have very, very good results for the being scared, or rather lack of being scared, for the shotgun racking.
Mm-hmm.
So Javier says definitive shotgun will change your view on the use of the shotgun. Somebody mentioned Nevitz. His name's Steven. It just fucking rolled out off my screen. Comes from a shotgun background in shooting sports. Love to get some training beyond shooting clays. Absolutely. I do believe that Zach's class has little to nothing in common with the shooting sports. So it would be certainly a different avenue of using that.
Yes, the people that have taken the shotgun class that come from any kind of shotgun competition background, I mean, they can shoot really fast, and some of them, can run the shotgun well, but keeping the shotgun loaded in a quick manner and knowing what buckshot does at certain distances and the importance of good buckshot, I think, are probably the two biggest things that a competition background person would have, hopefully when they take the shotgun class.
Also, just saying, I do believe that it is a shotgun themed block of instruction that Zach's doing at the All Hands Muster this year.
It is. We're going to break some more shotgun myths having to do with buckshot. I won't give it all away, but if you are coming to the muster, you can bring a shotgun or you can bring some of your cheap buckshot or both. But we're going to talk about another myth with the shotgun, at least that I was taught early in my police career. And we're going to basically realize that it's bullshit. And much like in the definitive shotgun class, we're going to take that myth and we're going to talk about when we could use it, and then we're going to actually go out and we're going to do it, and you'll see that it actually, like, what we're going to do is actually pretty effective. It's just no one really talks about it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
Zach, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Last time I think I got to chat with you about shotguns. I'm not sure. I think you were still doing a pump gun. Like, are you still a pump gun guy? Have you moved on to the semi-auto? What's your go-to nowadays?
A Beretta 1301. I think there's nothing wrong with a pump gun at all. However, it would be wrong of me to say that a semi-auto shotgun, especially with some training, doesn't put you in a better position to win. Now, not all semi-auto shotguns are created equal, right? So if it's a Beretta 1301 we're talking about, that is, in my opinion, a superior weapon than a pump shotgun. But the pump shotguns still have a place. But yes, I have fully converted over not, I mean, I still own pumps because I teach shotgun classes and pumps break. And so I need to like have shotguns for them. But if I was going to grab a shotgun, one of my shotguns or any shotgun, and I had a choice, I would grab a Beretta 1301. So that's my go-to. If I was going to take a shotgun class as a student, that's the gun I would show up with.
Nice.
Somebody asked earlier, and it's not tied in, but I do want to answer it before we roll on. If they should get a mask for fish, and I think it was Aiden asked. So in fish, Mike knows this. Zach does not because he hasn't been in it, but we do a ton of force on paper where just clear eye pro is good. And the little bit of force on force we do, if you don't own a mask, I bring a bunch of loaners. So if you don't have one, for the little bit you're going to wear it, if you just want to use one of my loaners, that's fine. If not, if you're going to do a bunch of force on force, I recommend you get your own. Just like if you were going to play sports, you wouldn't be like, oh, can somebody loan me a cup and a jock strap? You'd be like, hey, even though like it isn't as cool as a batting helmet or a catcher's mitt, I think I'd like to have my own. Same principle. But like I said, I got loaners for the little bit that we're going to do, so that'll be all righty. So Mark says he has 8 for fish. That's in Texas. Fellas, if you anybody wants to come to fish in Texas, Mark's going to fill the fucker up. So you should get on that. All right. Oh, somebody, who was it, said, Adam Hall said, but only pumps make the racking noise. I'm telling you, if you run the bolt on a shotgun, it sounds pretty fucking close. Semi-auto. Like it sounds, everybody knows.
Yeah, and the bolt on a semi-auto, it also just sounds a little different. So, it probably throws somebody for a noodle loop, when they hear it. But they all sound the same when you pull the trigger. So that's
that part. Yeah, you can't hear any of this. You can't hear the second rack or the third rack. All you hear is beep. All right. So I just wanted to answer that before it disappeared. We did have some questions, and they're shotgun related. So I figured now's as good a time as any. We're just going to leave Zach over on the big screen since it's shotgun related. And I'm going to need some graphics handy here in a second for this. So there it is. All right. First question we had. It's already like 20 minutes till 9. So we get to these. Is a KSG a good shotgun to run, or would a traditional pump or a semi-auto be a better choice? And before Zach answers, I'm going to let him answer while this graphic is up. Go ahead. What is your answer?
If the question is a KSG shotgun, the answer is no. And I really wish the answer was yes, right? Because I love the design of the shotgun. I am yet to, I've seen, I think one in class, I've seen a bunch just casually around, and I'm sure some of them work, right? Like 1911s, there's probably bound to be one out there that does work. I don't know. But I'm yet to hear like collective stories like I do about, the old 870s or Beretta 1301s where it's just common knowledge that they work. So if the question is, should I get a KSG, just stop right there. Tell yourself no. And get a 1301, get a police 870 shotgun, and go that route. I really wish that the KSG shotgun worked. I wish they made a semi-automatic version of the KSG that worked, but they don't. So the answer
didn't Smith & Wesson do like a KSG style shotgun?
I don't know if I've heard of that. So I can't say for sure.
How many shells does that thing hold?
Well,
more than it will fire.
It holds what? Yeah. I think it holds what? 7 on each side.
Nobody's ever made it without firing.
Yeah.
Ask
No one's
Mr.
ever.
Owl.
Yeah, it's like a double stack 1911. It's like, all right, thanks. Like, but and I say that as somebody that owned a pair ordnance double stack 1911 many years ago, and it would not fire an entire magazine unless you were shooting a very specific kind of ball ammo. So I say that out of someone who has been there, but I think the KSG holds 7. If you're one of the people that want to take your KSG and fuck it up even more, and you want to put the mini shells in it, then it holds like 12 on each side or some bullshit like that. Yeah, the answer to if the question is KSG, as of right now, the answer is no. I hope the answer changes because I love the design of the gun. They just don't work.
All right, next question. Do you run a choke in a self-defense shotgun? If so, which one?
The choke I run is called Federal Flight Control, and no, I don't run a choke in my shotgun. If someone had a shotgun and it's the only one they had and they needed a choke to get the pattern tighter, sure, I guess. But I will say that I don't recommend any chokes for a defensive or offensive shotgun. So the answer to that one, for me at least, is no.
Yeah, my shotguns aren't capable of accepting a choke. I assumed that I don't know. The question may have been relevant to. Well, my shotgun has one. What should I? And my answer in my notes I put was cylinder bore. But if you have to screw something in there, that's what I would screw in there.
Yeah.
Hey, Zach.
Agreed. Yes.
If you had to quantify, like how much tighter or more consistent would you say flight control is versus like anything else out there? Because I'm naive. I've only taken one or a couple of shotgun classes.
Right. So I would classify all buckshot into like low grade, medium grade, and then high grade, right? Which high grade I would put flight control pretty much in that category by itself. The medium grade and the high grade buckshot, in my opinion, is all reliable. That low grade buckshot, like Estate, SMB, not only is not packed well, the stuff that I would call low grade buckshot also could potentially have more reliability issues than the medium to high grade buckshot. If we're comparing like SMB buckshot to flight control, if I had to put a number on it, I would say the flight control is twice as tight just out of the gun. It's at least twice as tight probably out of the gun. So if your SMB buckshot at 15 yards has a 14-inch circle, then your flight controls, in my opinion, is going to have at least a 7 or probably tighter depending on the gun.
I mean, everyone likes it tighter,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for Tim to pop in somewhere. Like, I don't know. What he's gonna...
Hey, baby.
So Tim was the overwhelming 9th choice for when I asked people who they wanted to have on the live chat. And I asked him if he was interested. And he said, sure. And the last 2 weeks we haven't had a live chat because we've been waiting for Tim to figure out how to use his phone. So we just moved on.
I don't think I'm certified enough to laugh at that, considering I couldn't figure out how to turn my speakers on.
Yeah, everyone here, there are probably folks here, not everyone here, but there are probably folks here that remember your last visit to the live chat. And this one was started on the wrong foot, but it was behind the scenes. And
yeah, didn't involve me getting near as angry as the last one.
No, he didn't have to move to a different room or nothing. Scott, all right, next question is.
Oh, in the chat, Scott talks about critical defense buckshot. I would say that's a step below flight control. The critical defense stuff is decent, and it's probably better than most other buckshots, but it's not as tight as flight control. So I just want to make sure I addressed that when I saw it.
Right on. What is the best way to build upper body strength for using a long gun? I don't consider myself to have a lot of upper body strength and can run a long gun just fine. So I don't know. I guess just being an adult male is a good start. But I have to say that when I was in Tennessee, Heather was running me through starting strength, and it definitely worked. I'm not a guy to ask about fitness, and I don't think Matt Wyke is in the chat.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Zach.
Oh, yeah. I was just gonna say I took, I think, the same class that Gary took the starting strength class in Camden many years ago, and I've since loosely or maybe less loosely at times followed that same program. I only do 4 lifts. I do an overhead press. I bench press when my shoulder can handle it. I squat and I deadlift. And probably out of all those, I probably squat a lot more than I do the other ones. And when I follow that program regularly, like I get real strong real fast. I'm not going to win any bodybuilding competitions, but I could potentially like lift a car off somebody. You know what I mean? So like that's the kind of strength that you know, I look at the starting strength program almost like I look at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? Like you need a very small amount of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to really be effective. You need a very small amount of those 4 lifts, in my opinion, to build a really good relative amount of strength to the rest of the population. So I would second the starting strength program for sure.
I've fielded that question a lot, and just to think of it from a different angle, usually when I hear that question, it's like, oh well, how can I get my wife comfortable with shooting my 12 gauge full length shotgun? Which I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but for me, I think this is a universal concept of, well, you could just make the gun smaller. Like it doesn't have to be this masochistic process where you're like, no, I have to hold the full length 12 gauge. No, get a 20 gauge, youth model shotgun. Get a lighter AR. Like that's okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Or as well as the physical fitness, like going out and taking classes will also make you stronger. Like taking rifle classes will make you able to carry and shoot the rifle more effectively because you're doing it in training.
I find that most people get fatigued not in the, oh, how well do I shoot this thing? It's in the, how well do I manipulate and do gun handling aside from that? And like the more you do that stuff, the more you get used to like being efficient with where you put the buttstock and how you carry the rifle or the shotgun. The more, instead of trying to hold it out way out in front of you and like using all of your muscles, the more you do it, the more efficient you become at it. Same thing with the lifts too. Like when you first start doing lifts, it's like, oh my God, this is the hardest thing ever. And then all of a sudden you're lifting a lot more weight, a lot more regularly, because not necessarily that you've gotten a shit ton stronger real quick, but because your body has become more efficient at lifting it.
Yeah.
All right. Next shotgun question. Ready for this one? My wife prefers a 20 gauge over a 12 gauge. Is the 20 gauge good for self-defense?
Yes. I would also answer this question and say, I guess it depends what we're talking about. If it's the recoil of the gun that's scaring her away from the 12 gauge family of shotguns, I would put a semi-automatic 12 gauge in her hands and have her shoot that. But if for some reason she or he doesn't, that still doesn't work, where you don't have a semi-auto 12, then a 20 is fine as well. The only problem I have with the 20 is there's just not a lot of buckshot selection compared to the 12 gauge. So finding good quality buckshot with a 20 might be a little harder, in my opinion.
Interestingly enough, I looked today when I was making the list with the questions, and Federal makes a number 8 shot with a flight control wad, but not a buckshot with a flight control wad in 20 gauge.
Right.
And I was like, well, they're getting there.
Yeah, and if they ever do put out that flight control, double out, but like for 20, that would be perfect. And if somebody would make if Beretta would make a 1301 that shoots 20 gauge shells in a semi-auto, that would be cool too. So the first thing I would say is it the weight of the gun or is it the recoil? If it's the recoil, which it usually is, I would put a semi-automatic shotgun in her hand and see how she likes it.
I bet you she likes it better than a 20 gauge pump.
Right. But I would still.
I don't know his wife, but
if at all.
Wait, I don't remember who typed the question, so I might know his wife. But all right, for a self-defense shotgun, is 2 3/4 inch shell sufficient, or should you go bigger?
Well, I would
my
say
answer was 2 3/4 inch flight control. That was just the answer.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something about 2 3/4 inch being a-okay, but But yeah,
I run the mini shells in that one.
No, yeah, the 2 3/4 perfectly fine. And like I said, there's more selection out there, but I would run a 2 3/4 before I ran like a 3-inch Magnum.
Zach Ty Estes says he has a Winchester 1300 Defender. Should he sell it and get an 870, or will it be okay to take a class with?
He can always take a class with it. If
you take one of Zach's classes and it quits working, he'll probably have a shotgun he can hand you to finish the class with.
I will have backups. If you're looking for, that's a tough question. I would say if it's a shotgun you have and you shot it and it works, then take the class with it. If it's something that you don't have, that after you take the class, then you may decide you want to sell it and trade up. But I would just say take the class with it.
All right. So next questions. Not necessarily a shotgun question, but it could be. Do you shoulder a long gun in a different location or differently when running a plate carrier versus nothing? My answer is no. My plate carrier isn't in the way of me shouldering a long gun. I don't know if you guys got anything you want to add on that.
I have a lot of shoulder. It doesn't seem to those two things usually have no problem cohabitating.
Yeah, I just put it at my shoulder. I mean, if someone had a plate carrier that was like obviously blocking their shoulder, I would probably look at the plate carrier and figure out why it's blocking the majority of their shoulder. I've seen that in the police world, not where the plate carrier blocks the shoulder, but where cops for some reason decide they want to put the buttstock like right in the center of their chest for some reason. And so that doesn't make sense then, and it doesn't make sense to me that a properly fitted or properly made plate carrier would block enough of your shoulder that you couldn't get a buttstock in there.
Agreed. All right. Best bug out choice of food. Bang for the buck, quality versus weight, etc. So for bugging out, to me, that means the shit that's in your backpack, which isn't necessarily like the food that I have stored for the end of the world or whatever, even just a weekend without power. In the backpack, I'm a big fan of MREs because you can eat them while you walk. And if you've ever eaten a Mountain House pouch of food dry while you walked, it blows. Although if you have time to stop and heat water up, Mountain House is way better than the MRE. So I don't want to have to use any of my drinking water. If I have access to extra water, I wouldn't mind, but if you figure on you're carrying X amount of water for you to drink, then you have to not use that water to cook. Like you need more water on you if you need it to cook. So I'm a big fan of MRE just for it can be eaten just the way it comes.
I would completely agree. However, my views of the bug out per se have changed over the years. Like if I'm backpacking or doing like a camp out, to me there's nothing better than the MRE packets ripped apart, get rid of all the bullshit stuff that you don't want. Saves on weight, makes it so you can stuff stuff in different places. But if it's just truly a bug out bag, Cliff Bars, Snickers, like if it's literally like if I'm literally just getting from point A to point B, I'm just looking for cheap, easy calories that I can use on the move, and like the Cliff Bars are like so good. They taste good too. Like
yeah, I actually usually have Cliff Bars in my bag all the time. In fact, this last bug out, I had Cliff Bars in there. I had forgotten. I thought it was out and still had some more stashed in there. All I'm going to say with Cliff Bars is you should do some type of bug out events regularly so you can use the Cliff Bars because they do not have they don't have a year-long shelf life. So if you need to do like a seasonal rotation on the food in there. And the best way to get a seasonal rotation is go out and use your fucking bag. use your gear, find out things you wanted to upgrade because you forgot after the last time, and it's your shelter sucks or whatever. And it's a great time to any consumables that need swapped out. You can swap them out while you're getting practice in.
Yeah, actually, I would even say a lot of the food falls into like comfort category, like convenience category. Like you can go 72 hours with hard labor without eating, because like you don't really need that, but man, it makes you feel a lot better. So like on the scale of like where it falls in terms of needing, what's the best bang for the buck? Yeah, I mean, if you have the time and the ability to bring it, the like a little bit of food is just such a big pick me up.
Yep.
Yeah, I would agree. That's probably honestly the biggest thing I took away, maybe, or one of the biggest things when I took the bug out class a couple years ago was like how much food I didn't need to eat, and like I brought a ton of food with me, and I think there was somebody in the class who had like some trail mix and like a Cliff Bar for the whole weekend, and I was like, he's gonna die out here. And then I realized like I don't really, and of course I had like 4 main meals from an MRE and like a bunch of extra MRE accessories, and the weight didn't bother me. It was just like I don't necessarily need that. So that was a great thing for me to realize that like I can go now. Like I agree with Mike that like it's a comfort thing, you know, like especially if you're in a situation where you have a bag on your back and you're moving somewhere, like, you know, having a comfort item or two in the form of food wouldn't be a bad idea. But I think in my bag in my truck, I think I have like a couple main meals for the MRE and a couple sides, and I know that would last me a very long time. And I would agree with the MRE. Probably for me, I like the MRE because I don't have to worry about rotating it near as much as Cliff Bars and stuff like that. So in my truck, in my pack, I have pretty much exclusively MREs as far as like solid food.
What's your favorite MRE? Like
Chili Mac. Chili Mac.
Chili Mac.
Yeah. Well,
shredded beef and barbecue sauce is mine.
I just had my absolute favorite this weekend. It was beef strips in tomato sauce.
I don't think I've had that one.
It's basically beef goulash and it comes with mashed potatoes. It was awesome.
Okay. Yeah, no, I know they've changed some of the menus since I've been in, and that may have been when I acquired most of my MRE selection. So I'm still on the Chili Mac menu A boxes. The menu A 1 through 12, I think, is what it is. But anyway, yeah, that's the Chili Mac. And there's some that I really don't like, but like you said about the comfort thing, like the ones in my vehicle, I put specifically the ones that I know I'm going to eat, whether it's cold or hot. There are some that I can only eat hot, or that I only prefer hot, and there are some that I can eat either way. So,
yep.
That is.
What do we got here? Checking the comments. Tommy asks if day 3 pistol is a valid prereq for day 3 carbine. Yep, sure is. I'll take it. Chuck Peoples says freeze dried for stored, MRE for movement. I'm a big fan of that setup right there. Eli says a flask of whiskey is great for morale. It's a disinfectant. Yeah, I can't argue with that. Jason Hedrick, what happened with the body bag shelter experiment? Well, I will tell you, having spent a part of an evening, I should say, in a body bag, the heavy duty black one, not the lightweight white ones. White ones are like the ones in the ambulance. The black ones are like the FEMA ones. That fucking thing's like a sauna. And like, if it's cold out, you'll die in it because you'll get hot, sweat, and then freeze because you're wet. While I use it as a joke in the bug out seminar, it's not very useful. All right. Next question. This is from Tim Larson. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? I do believe the correct answer is African or European. If nobody gets the movie reference, it's Monty Python. But I did look it up. It's 20 to 24 miles an hour. Anyway, moving on. Red dot on a pistol, 0 range preference. Anybody here have input on that? I
think it's whatever you want it to be. Like, it's as long as you know what it is and know what your holdovers are.
What people tend to forget with a pistol red dot versus a rifle red dot is that the offset is like 1/4 of an inch versus like 2.5 inches. So how that works, and you're shooting a rifle at like maybe out to 500 yards. So that big offset at that big long distance, that geometry is semi-important. Semi, not super. If you know it, it really doesn't matter what it is within reason. But on a pistol, the distances are much shorter and the offset is almost non-existent. So
I use 10 just because that's what my eyes can see well.
It's way easier to zero at 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know some people like 25, and I just saw, somebody, Mike Pannone maybe, was recommended a 15 he was playing with and liked it. I was like, well, I've never even tried it. Maybe and then my next dot, I'll try it just to see what he's talking about. But
I just don't know any ranges that usually have like the predetermined 15 yard. Like usually, like if I go to my range nearby, like there's a target at 10 and there's a target at 25 and 50.
The range I use is just an empty pit, and that's whatever I put the target stand at. All right, let's see what else we got. Somebody, I can't remember who asked this. It's someone I know. Oh, I think it was the Hydra said, when will your books on pistol, rifle, and shotgun be available for purchase? So I am throwing my hat over the fence. The first one will be ready to buy in the 4th quarter of this year.
You should rush to get ready by the muster.
Are you writing a shotgun book?
Yes, it is.
Is it going to have stuff in it, or is it just going to be a picture of an AR?
It's an index.
You will get the advanced copy. Maybe I'll let you write the forward. You always get someone that's someone else to write a forward, and
oh yeah,
maybe we'll
looking forward to that one. Yes.
Now, which one's coming first? I have no idea. Maybe what I need is, certainly for the carbine, I'm going to need some volunteers to be in some photographs, because in the carbine one, we're going to have multiple people in photos and diagrams shooting. So maybe I'll have to put the word out that I'm looking for some folks to come and be part of that. And I'll maybe buy them a pizza that day. And the shooting that we do, I will get someone to sponsor the ammunition for it so that they don't even have to shoot their own bullets.
Seems like a win-win.
Yeah. Or if I can get like a supermodel that likes to shoot, I'll get one for that, get her for the pistol one too. Because then the drawn from appendix, when you're lifting up your shirt to get to your gun, I mean, you can look at my fat belly, or, Scarlett Johansson, maybe we could get her to be in the book.
But where will we ever get scantily clad women that will, associate with firearms? Those don't exist.
No, I've never opened Instagram. I actually, strangely enough, when I'm cruising through them and going, no idea if most of them can shoot. I saw one recently. I'm not going to mention her name, but I was like, the truck she's standing beside has Pennsylvania plates. I wonder how local she is and if she'd like to be in a book. I have no idea if she's from Pennsylvania, but there was a truck with PA plates in the picture. All right, last question I got was, what's your take on this Patriot Front thing? I had to actually double check and make sure I was talking about the right fucking thing, because I was like, I don't know what a Patriot Front thing is. And so I Googled it and the pictures came up and I was like, yes, that is the thing I was thinking of. 100% absolutely positive. I would wager my life on it. That was all feds. 100%. That march in wherever the fuck it was a bunch of like badged federal special agents pretending to be whatever exactly it was that they were pretending to be. Just like they all had matching shirts and pants and like FBI issue boots. with matching hats and matching white balaclavas, and they had like posters and bumper stickers, way more organized than any group of fucking weirdos ever would be. And there was no fat people in it. They were all fit. And I was like, well, that's not the gun community in the least bit.
Yeah, that was my first clue when I saw the pictures of these people is one, how uniform they look. And it's like, you can't get a group of 3%ers to have anything similar about their gear at all, much less having their rifle work. And then with these guys, it's like they're like in lockstep. They're all like relatively fit, like 10 to 12% body fat. They're all like the same height. It's like, oh, this is obviously like the recruit class for like the latest FBI academy. And it's just like, are these people even trying anymore? Like they're not even trying to trick us anymore. It's that was a sham from the second I saw the pictures.
What is? I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Oh, so, well, if you Google the word Patriot Front, maybe March, Patriot Front March, you look at the pictures, and it's a shame we've tainted what your eyes will be seeing. But anybody with an IQ that's in like at least triple digits already knew. Like I'm not ruining the surprise for you.
Yeah, I don't even know what their like message is.
I don't know what they were marching for or against.
Yeah, but yeah, it's clear that these are people that are put together as a group, not organically. I don't know what their message is. I don't know if they allegedly have any hate speech or not, or if they they all look like federal agents with masks on. So
yeah. I saw one little video today when I Googled to make sure it was the right thing, and somebody was like, I recognized one of the feds and he confiscated my phone. All right, so that's our take on that. That's all the questions, unless the ones that popped up in the chat. And I was rolling back through trying to make sure I didn't miss one of the questions.
I think there was a shotgun question. Somebody said he has a Mossberg 930, which is a semi-auto Mossberg, and he put a Spark, which I think is the Vortex red dot on the top.
Well, that might quit working.
Do what?
That'll quit working.
Yeah. So my first question is, which one's going to fail first, the gun or the optic? He asked what to zero the red dot. I would do 25 yards with slugs, and I would pick a slug that is 1 ounce, and it's not a high power slug, and it's not a low power slug, and that's how I zero my shotguns. I don't know if that's the best way. I don't know if that's what the internet says, but that's how I've done it, and I can go out with slugs later at 200 and get hits with that zero. But the trick is you have to zero it with a full power slug, not a magnum slug, but a full power slug. If you zero it with the little droopy slugs, then it's not going to be the same. So
it's only droopy because it has an enlarged prostate.
I remember, speaking of low power slugs, many years ago, I was shooting low power slug because it didn't hurt my shoulder as much, and I thought that was the right thing to do. And I was taking Thunder Ranch shotgun class, and of course I'm shooting a big dot on the front of my 870, which at this point, believe it or not, was still working in the class. This was on day one, and I'm like holding, and Clint has these like 6-foot pieces of steel, and we're like 100 yards away, and I'm holding at the top of the steel. I'm putting the pedestal of the big dot in my sight picture to try to get more elevation out of it. And even Clint's like, he's like, what kind of ammo are you shooting? And he like holds it up and he goes, this is guard. And he's like, well, that's your problem. You're shooting, like slow slugs essentially. And he's like, these things dump a ton of energy the second they leave the barrel. So you need to have at least like full power slugs. And so after that, I quit using, low power slugs. The low power buckshot, I think, has a place potentially, depending on what kind of buckshot it is. But low power slugs, definitely don't zero with those, and most definitely don't try to shoot anything past 100 with those. unless you want to have the shotgun angled like in a mortar position.
It'd be like 45 ACP. We're going to
Yeah.
aim at the moon, drop them right in the trench. That's why they called it the trench gun. They did ask somebody, what shotgun did Zach recommend? 1301. And I mean, my opinion, I would get a 590 before I got an 870, but you can usually find better deals on used 870s.
Yeah, I would go 1301 if you can afford it, and then I would go 870 if you know that it's a police Magnum version, and then I would go Mossberg 590 500 series. That'd be the way, but only if you can confirm it's actually a police 870, like a police Magnum 870. And those usually really beat up, but they usually, I mean, those are solid. So,
well, let's be honest. If it's a cop gun, it got bounced around in a cruiser a lot and got
hardly
shot
ever
twice.
shot. Yeah, hardly ever shot.
Pointed at a lot of innocent people, though, but probably
it's pointed at a ton of people, most of which were probably other cops. Let's be honest. And but yeah, those 870 police Magnums are like getting harder to find. Like 4, 5, 6 years ago, like they were just giving those things away. But that's why I recommend the Mossberg pumps, just because it's easier for someone to go grab one the weekend before a class at a sporting goods store than it is for them to try to hunt down a police 870 and then have them ship it to their FFL. So, or you can just buy a 1301 if you can get your hands on one of those. That would be preferred. The only Beretta that I probably recommend, to be honest.
Well, somewhere I have the 5 worst things to put on a pistol, and number 5 is the Beretta logo, but it's a pistol. So it didn't say shotguns; it said pistols.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's okay to put the logo on a shotgun, but after that, it's probably So and Adam says the 590A1 has bayonet lugs, so we
I mean, does it have its own specific bayonet, or does it use like a M7 or M9 military bayonet?
I don't know.
I would think it's probably a nose bayonet's big enough for a muzzle to go through.
It's probably universal. I would. Oh yeah. I don't. That's a good question. I don't know.
I don't have a bayonet or a shotgun with a bayonet lug to do any of this.
I've just never considered it, but I know they have the lug. I've just never seen anybody put a bayonet on there. But I don't know. Someone asked about the A300 Patrol, which is the A300 Patrol is Beretta's response to Aridus Industries and all of the parts that Aridus Industry made to make the 1301 better. So I'm assuming that the A300 is the same gun as the 1301. I haven't shot one yet. If it's the same gun as a 1301, then I wouldn't have any reason to say that it wouldn't be as good. It just has better.
I did find out recently that the recoil system in the A300 is in the stock. So you can't change it you can't put a Magpul stock on it.
Oh, that's a problem then.
And I mean, it's possible that they got the grip angle on that stock correct, but it's weird for the 8 trillion fucking shotguns in existence. They all put the grip in the wrong spot. And surprisingly now, Magpul showed everyone where it goes, and they still make new shotguns and don't put it there.
Yeah. I would still, I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen the A300, so at this point, I would tell someone to buy a 1301 and buy the adapter from Aridus Industries for the stock, and then put. I believe it uses the Mossberg stock as the adapter, if I remember correctly. And that's what I would do, because I agree with Gary. Like, the stock that Beretta made for the A300 is probably an improvement, but I don't think there's anything better out there than the Magpul stock, or the Magpul 4-end. For example, is another piece of gear that should be on a pump shotgun. So I would still go with 1301, and then you'll have to spend a little bit extra money and time kind of customizing it, but that would be the safest bet at this point until I can kind of get my hands
And people spend so much on their fucking rifles. Like, I don't know what a 1301 goes for, but it's probably the model number is lower than the price tag at this point.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I look at the rifle that's sitting beside my bed, and there's like $3,500 in it. So
yeah, Well, that's the thing about shotguns. I've had this conversation with people. It's like, well, I don't want to spend $1,000 on a shotgun, and it's like, but you'll spend that much on you'll spend 4 times that much on a rifle, or twice that much on a pistol, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's like, this is a gun too, man. Like this is, like this deserves your attention just as much as your fancy black gun.
You think it's hard to get people to spend money on a shotgun? You should talk to them about radios.
Oh, yeah, I can only imagine, right?
That radio costs more than $45. What do you think I am, rich?
I got 5 Glocks I haven't even taken out of the box yet, but I can't spend $40 on a radio.
That thing that connects me to the outside world when the outside world is having
it
problems.
sends magic waves of radiation through the air to have you connect to another human that you cannot see. Like, guns don't do that.
No. And I've always said, maybe a little off topic, there's 2 skills that are going to be in the highest of demand whenever society decides not to work as much anymore. People that can talk to people really far away, and people that can shoot people really far away. Like, those are going to be the 2 skills that people are going to love to have you on their team if you can do one or both of those things.
I will add one more thing to that. If you're a doctor. Because
like medical stuff, I
think that guy is way more important than the other 2.
I just spoke with a doctor in the last week, and I was like, hey man, you can pick your family up at the end of the world and bring them over to my house for my family and my group of people, and most of my people haven't even met you, and we don't care. You're an ER doctor. I said, I'll even give you a gun that works. And that was a joke, because in dynamic carbine he had an AK that wouldn't run for fucking fuck.
What kind of AK was it?
A 5.56 AK.
Oh,
which,
yeah, of course.
Well, I have found your problem, my friend.
Yeah. I would agree. I would also say that, not all doctors are created equal. So when you say doctor, like, we have to specify, are we talking ER doctor or like,
Yes, this cat is an ER doctor, not a chiropractor.
Yeah, not
which any doctor that heard this went, that guy's not a doctor.
Yes. So,
all right, one link to share before we definitely wrap these things up. The custom shop Kydex holster we're giving away in Rhodesian camouflage instructor holster. There is an actual sign up link. I just shared it. I'm going to put it on the socials too. I was supposed to do that first and forgot. So whoops. We got talking about the Firearms Policy Coalition. So I forgot to put the link. But yep, there's a spot there. You don't have to sign up for a newsletter. You don't have to subscribe to anything. It just asks you for a couple visits to like the Tremis Dynamics Instagram, visit the Facebook page. You don't have to fucking click like. You don't have to subscribe. You don't have to follow. Just visit it and it'll put your entry in.
Nice.
And that is the Q2 giveaway. And I was looking today at what the Q3 giveaway is going to be. And it's going to be more high dollar than the previous giveaways combined.
Whoa.
What did we give away in the first quarter? I don't even remember.
Was it that backpack?
Oh, yes. Yes. It was the Grey Ghost gear pack.
Right. The one that you didn't like.
The one I didn't like. Reviewed it, didn't like it, and sent it out. Iroquois Foreskin says, all the things he doesn't have. Guess he's not winning. Well, Iroquois Foreskin, one of the things that you can follow is or go visit is the YouTube channel. And I see you're commenting on YouTube. So you can at least get one entry instead of 5 entries. All right, so that's out of the way too. So quick recap. Zach's got a Ohio shotgun class coming up June
3rd.
And if you're in that neighborhood or within driving distance of that neighborhood, you should take it. Zach's also going to Texas this year. He's going to be in Texas while I'm in Texas. And if you take Zach's pistol class in Del Rio, and then a week later take my pistol class, I will give you a discount code, or Zach will give you a discount code when you sign up for the class to get the full cost of his class as a discount off of my class. So,
and if you can't make the shotgun class in Ohio, but you're more local to Texas, to Del Rio specifically, I'm teaching the shotgun class there on October 8th, the day after the pistol class, which is a Sunday. So you may get some shotgun training down there if Ohio is a little too far away, or if you want to take both, that's okay too. But I am teaching the shotgun class twice this year so far, and teaching it at the muster. If you can already guess how much I love teaching shotgun stuff, so I'll be teaching that in Texas.
yes. What was I going to say? Oh, I know. Zach, are you using the regular range down in Del Rio or the new one? Jim has access to a new one.
I'm not aware of the new one, so I would say the regular one. But Jim has not told me anything different than the one I used last time. So,
well, he got access to a new one, and we used it for the first time in the spring for the master class.
Yeah. Is it made out of rocks like the?
Nope, it is dirt. And by the time I'm there again, which is the week after you, so I would imagine by the time you're there, it will have at least 2 berms, for like 90 degrees shooting.
Yeah.
And it does not have a late night limit. So you can shoot into the dark.
Oh, I will ask Jim about that. Is the ground like soft enough that we could do fighting stuff? Like
yes.
Grass? Oh, okay, perfect.
So it's like 100 yards by 50 yards. And when I was there, the front 50 by 50, I would roll around in no problem. I mean, it's dirt, so
yeah,
but it's soft dirt. And then the back 50 still had some scrub brush and shit in it, like Texas is known for. But Jim said when he builds that side berm, he's going to clear that scrub brush all the way back, so it's just dirt the whole way. No rocks and boulders.
Well,
if I would do entangled gunfighting, if you had it there, I would sign up for it and not feel bad about.
Okay. I'll have to reach out to them because that's the reason I haven't taught any of the combative stuff. Is because like the definitive retention, because there's some force on force stuff in there, and obviously entangled is just a day of fighting each other and some shooty stuff, and so that's the reason I haven't ever taught that stuff there, because it would be miserable to take that class.
Well, yeah, at the old range, I wouldn't fucking do it.
Yeah, so I'll reach out to him because I think those combatives classes would probably do well down there. I've had people ask for them down there, a year or two ago. So I'll reach out.
Yeah, you could do certainly entangled and low light if you wanted. Like it's.
Oh yeah, and I am teaching the low light in Paducah, Texas, the week after I'm in Del Rio on October 14th. So it's all on the website. But if you want some low light training, I am teaching that in Paducah. Paducah is vehicle stuff. So if you like vehicle stuff and you like force on force rounds and you like mixing those together and you like fighting, we're going to do all that in Paducah. And there's a bundle code. So if you want to take all the Paducah, Texas classes together, you can save some money on that bundle, which is a picture of Tim Morris in a bathtub with an AK-74. So if you click on that, you can sign up for all the Paducah classes, which are all vehicle related and low light.
Awesome. All right. Well, that was kind of the big things I wanted to make sure we hit at the beginning and again at the end here for people that checked in late. Obviously, for the replays of this, people probably won't even get this far before they sign out. But oh, Tom Hollaby says if we open Instagram, you'll only see him right now. Well, sooner or later, I guess, Tom, I got to listen to the video.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. So what do we got here? 9:25, way more than an hour long. Guys, I want to thank you both for checking in, hanging out today, answering folks' questions. And we'll do another one of these next week. And I don't know who will be here. Me, maybe other people, maybe not. Still waiting on Tim to figure out how to turn his phone on, so it won't be him. But see if we can't squeeze some special guests in. If you guys want to give any parting words, now is your chance.
I just posted a link to the Bulletin Swag store. If anybody's wondering where to get one of these awesome new Hydrate or Die shirts, check it out. But yeah, we got a bulletin swag shop online now.
Awesome.
And yeah, thanks for having me on. Again, I got several classes on the, if you click on definitivetrainingsolutions.com, the upcoming courses is how you sign up for the courses. And so for those of you taking class before, everything else is still the same. We still do dog tags at the end. But we look forward to having you guys, or hopefully having some of you back. And that's where you can sign up. So thanks for having me.
Awesome. All right, everybody take it easy out there, and I'll see you.